Good morning, team. It's Jeff Eichen here, and it's Football Sunday, and it's a incredible day. We've had some shakeup in the NFT world with OpenSea's minimizing the number of drops you can do. So we just got to live with everything that comes our way. People are leaving, people are dying, people are living, people are crying. So do the best you can and figure out who to help you do your drop and do it quick before they get even smaller. So I'm going to show you my 420 clock make today, and I've got a beautiful sun coming through my window here, and I'm just kicking back, doing a incredible clock here. So I'm going to share my screen with you, and I'm going to share my Photoshop here, and I'm in the eCam program here. I'm going to see if I can minimize that here, and I'm going to tell you how I'm going to cut this out here in Photoshop. I've already done a little bit, and then I decided to share it with you all. So I go to my selection tool, and the marquee tool is set to, uh, which is the M on your keyboard, and I'm a Photoshop Flow Meister, and I love to share my tips and tricks with you. So today's tips and tricks are how to cut out and get rid of the arms and then make some 420 butt arms. So here we go. We are going to go back into my history and show you exactly what I did. So I made a selection here, and I actually have already cut out the the cloth. Okay, so I cut out the cloth, and it had some jagged edges on it. What I did was I made a palette with purple and green, and I made a backdrop with the paint bucket, where you can make a gradient to a paint bucket, and that was cool. Let's see if I blew my history. I didn't blow my history. So then I wanted to check that out, and what happened was, what's wrong with my history here? Let's see here. Let's go M, boom. Let's go back. So evidently I blew my history out. So I'm not going to be able to show you how I really did this. Well, maybe I will. I'll do it over again here. So what I did was I put it back on here. I don't know how I blew my history out, but so what I did was I cut this out, okay, and then I wanted to put a background on it, so I put a background on it, and then I figured that the arms were a little bit, I mean, the background was a little bit jagged. So what I did was I made a circle. I took this marquee tool and turned it into elliptical, and I made a circle. So I hit shift, which makes a plus, and I dragged the circle until it was a certain size that I thought was pretty close, and it wasn't close enough. So what I want to do now is expand that circle, and so I modify that circle and I expand that by 10, and I say okay, and then I can move it with my arrows. Then I can move it with my arrows and get it into a position where I want it, okay? And so now what I do is I take and I go next to the trash can and make another layer, layer 4, and I put it behind, well, let's put it in front first. Then I take my picker tool here, which is over down here to pick the color, and I pick the color inside the clock there as that cream color. And I drop it in here because the circle has marching ants there, selection tool. I get the paint bucket, which is the paint bucket there, and I make the paint bucket, um, and I go and I be sure that I didn't. Okay, so I nudge the outline. Go to your history to see where you are at. Then you put into the layer 2 your paint bucket. So see I have my paint bucket in here. So now I paint my paint bucket. 1, 2, 3. Okay? And I paint bucket that 3 times. It got a little bit soft on the edges, but let's see if we can um, go and take that out. So we can go Command X, and let's see if we did it right. So now we are going to drag this layer below the clock, and lo and behold, we have this clock here. But you can see if you zoom in that it's not perfect, okay? So what we're going to do here is we are going to go back in our history, boom, and we're going to go cut pixels, select inverse, okay. So now we're going to go back here and see if it's bigger and better and better. And we're going to go and drag this below. And it is better, okay? So we see here that there's some shadow coming up here. And we find the layer. We hit M to get rid of the marching ants or the selection tool. And then we find out the layer that the clock is on. And what we're going to do here is hit your control or your command button and merge these. Command or control Edward, E, and then now they're all one. Okay, but the fact of the matter is that this is got a shadow here and we want to get rid of that. So in my workflow, I will take my wand and I will make a selection with my wand and I will make that smaller. So I will contract that 3 times. Boom. Okay, and let's do it again 3 times. So we'll go select, modify, contract 3. Okay, let's go and see how that is. If that's around the girl. Okay, so let's do it again one more time. Select, modify, contract by 3. Okay, so I like that. So what we're going to do now is go over here to the smudge tool. It's under the blur tool or the sharpen tool, and we're going to select smudge, which is R, and we're going to start to smudge this. So if you can see that, what I'm doing here, without getting into any of the numbers, is I'm taking this, and you can make your tool larger, but then you have to be careful that you don't get any of the numbers or they'll start bleeding into it. But see what I'm doing? I'm getting rid of that incredible, stupid. Now that one, I go Command Z because I got some of the orange, and I make my tool smaller because it is in the zone. So I can also take and I can pull it down. The smudge tool is really awesome for moments like this, but this is because we're going to make NFTs and art, and nobody really looks that deep into things. But when you blow it up and when you make prints and things, you can't have any artifacts that are not fairly perfect. Now, if you're a grunge artist and you like some grunge to it, then you can leave it. But for me, I like the fact that I'm Command Z and then get that like that. I like the fact that I'm just taking my time and I'm painting those in. Now, I can also do another thing. I can, when I just said paint, I can hit the B for brush tool and I can actually paint that also by hitting the Alt button, getting that color, and I can paint that too. So let's see if painting is better than smudge for the time being. Okay, so I'm painting, and because I have the selection tool, it won't paint outside the selection tool. So instead of smudging, which is a great way to do this, I'm going to paint because I feel that painting this may allow me to go faster. So I'm going to paint this. And mind you, I'm not using a mouse today. I'm just using my trackpad. But I've gotten really good with my trackpad because I spent hundreds of hours doing my weed drop with my trackpad. Now, mind you, yesterday OpenSeas has minimized the amount of drops you can do. So I don't know where that's going to go, but that's okay. So now what we're going to do is be sure we're on this layer, okay? We're going to hit M. Now that we like that, because we cleaned up the cloth, let's give it a little one more over here. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, let's look at the top. Looks pretty good. So Command or Control minus, and we're in there. So we hit M for marquee, and take the marquee outside of your selection, and then it goes bye-bye. Okay. So now check it out. What we're going to do now is I'm going to do a little bit of secret sauce here. And I'm going to zoom this in a little bit. See if I can Command plus this. And I'm going to move my selections so they're not touching any of the numbers. And I'm going to go Command, I'm going to go Option, no, I'm going to go B for brush and Option for color picker, and then I'm going to just start painting this in, and I'm going to open up my giant here because I want to get rid of these arms, okay? So this is a really fun class that I'm doing because we're going to get rid of these arms in a really fantastic way. So now we're going to go M for marquee, take it outside, and click that. So now we're working on getting rid of these numbers. So now let's see if we can get a circle. Hold shift down and then it'll go proportionately, and we'll try to get a circle about the same size as that circle in there. So you can use your arrow tools, and if you hit shift it'll go in multiples of 2. So that looks pretty good. Now let's contract it 3 because we know that that it's on 3. So we got select, contract, 3. Okay, we're going to go this time 2. Select, modify, contract, 2. Okay, I think that's good. And what we're going to do is have a little bolo tie here. So B for bolo tie, B for painting, and then we're going to make our, and we are going to go in here and I can go down over the line and voila that. So it looks like this is a little bit darker color. So instead of redoing all the numbers, I am just going to kind of fill it in a little bit here and there and fake it out. Okay, so let's see, we can do it there. Fill it in. Now we're going to get rid of this stem here. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take the shift control or shift command I as an inverse, and now we're going to invert that that goodie, and I'm going to show you. Now I can paint on the outside of it. Okay, so now I'm going to hit Alt or Option, get the picker up here, and picker dicker, and paint that in there, and paint this in here. It's pretty intuitive, and then you can make the brush smaller here, and brush in there. So now I'm going to get the Alt, and I'm going to paint this one. I'm painting right on the layer. Some people like to make an extra layer so they don't mess it up with the original layer, but today I feel confident with keeping this layer. So what do? We hit M, our marquee tool, and we go outside, and we get rid of that. Now we keep the marquee tool, and we go and make it into a square. Hold down, get your rectangle, and then go boom. And I'm going to see if I can copy that, Command C and Command V. So see, it made another layer of just that. So now you can Control T that, open that up, and you can move it into a direction that you like. We can put it there and then hit your Command or your Control, and it'll change your tool to an arrow, and you can just pull that baby without making it fatter proportionately. Double click that, and then wand that to get rid of that color there. Boom. There's probably one up there. Boom. And then you can move it by hitting your V tool, and you moved it perfectly. So now I'm going to hit Command or Control J, and I duplicated that. So I can now have 2 of these, okay? So I've got 2 of them now, and I'm going to go boom, and I'm going to pull that into a, so 10 and 2 are the same. So what I'm going to do is go Edit, Transform. These are all highly advanced tools here that I'm showing you. And I'm going to grab that. I just transform that horizontally. And look at that mother trucker. So I made this to where I can put those together and move it with my arrows to get it pretty darn cool. Okay, that's pretty darn close. Now, to get a to get it to go to cut the bottom of that arm off there, I'm going to go to the lasso and get the polygon lasso and follow this. Get yourself a little bit of juice there. Go like that, double click, and Command or Control X. There you go. Some of you are on stinking Windows. How's Windows 11, by the way, all you Windows fans? Okay, so now how do we make a 10 and 45 and a 50? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to get this, we're going to go back to M for marquee. We're going to go M for marquee, and we're going to go and grab that 1 out of there, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to grab that 1 and go to layer there, Command C, V, okay, so now I've got the 1. V, da 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 da. Okay, and I see there's a little bit of backwash there, so I zoom it in. Always zoom things in so you can work on them, and then you go M again, and you go, boom, I see a little bit there, and I Command X that. Now I'm going to get a 0. Okay, so now I'm going to get a 0. Boom. And I'm going to go back to the clock, layer, C, and V is paste. So Command or Control C, and then V is in paste. And then look at that. I've got 10. So now we're going to hit our eraser button. And since our eraser is so big, we're going to make eraser smaller. And if you want to know how to do that on a keyboard shortcut, that's another class. Okay, so I'm erasing all the extra amenities of this and maybe even some color here in case we ever blow that up and one of the Papa Bears watches us. So now I know that that 0 is going to be important to make 50, so I'm going to go V as in move that to there, and then go Command J or Control J and go V and hit your space bar, I mean your shift bar, and it'll move in meganess. Okay, so now how do we get the 5? We hit M, we go back to our clock, we get 5 here, boom. This is for all you Photoshop gurus in waiting. So you go Command or Control C and Control V, and you go V, you hit Shift, and you go boom, 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 boom. And then now you go like that, and then you hit your eraser button, eraser tool, and since the eraser tool is at a small opacity, let's get it to 100 and 100, and it'll just erase the crap out of there. Okay, so now we have a clock. Okay, who likes that clock? Okay, so now what we're going to do is show you our eyeballs on, off, 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 and off. So now on, 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 on. Pretty dang cool. So now we're going to go get some Jack Herer. First I want to go and hit Controller Command 0, and that will make it fit. But I like to go 1 minus, just to bring some space around it so we can work on it and see what we're doing. Okay, so now we're gonna go back to this Jack Herer, Command A that, Command C this, and we are going to go boom, and we are going to paste that in there. Whoa, it's a big fat bud clock, so we're going to go Command T that, and we're going to make it super small. Okay, and then we are going to, first what we're going to do is find the center of this clock here. So I'm going to just drag over and it'll snap right to the center. It should snap to the center right there. Okay, so that's the center. So now what we want to do is take that Jack Herer bud and we want to make it a little smaller and then turn it, because we're going to do 420. But what I want to do is I want to make that skinny. So I want to, now I want to use my control or command key to change the scaling tool to where it's not proportional. Now I just let go and I do the proportional one. And that's the Jack Herer bud at 420. So we get the center and we go boom. Okay, so now how are we going to get 2 on there and make them visible? What I'm going to do, since that's my 20, I'm going to Command V that again, and I'm going to Command Control T to get my handles on there, and I'm going to get a fat one, and I'm going to go boom, 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 boom. Okay, and I'm going to move it over here. Okay, and I'm going to move it here. Okay, so I think always the fatter ones, the smaller ones are on the bottom, but I think what I'll do is I'll leave it on the top for the time being. And let's go to FX, which is effects, okay? Okay, and I'm going to put a stroke on that. Should we put swing? Should we put a green stroke around that? Why not? Let's get the color that we have here. Okay, so we're going to go okay, and then we're going to put a drop shadow on there. Boom. Okay. We say okay, and now what we're going to do is we're looking good, everybody, for our 420 clock. And it's amazing that 420 had both arms on themselves, but this is how I'm doing it. Now what you do here is you right click or control click on your Mac and you copy layer style, and then you go down to layer 8, control click, paste layer style, and then you get 420. Okay, so now we are rocking the 420 clock. Now let's look and see if the fat one below makes any difference. So we will take that and put it below, and you know, let's see here. If we take Mr. Fatty V and put you down here, and let's see if we turn you a bit, if you'll make any difference. Let's make you bigger and bring you down. Okay, so now we have to make our decision. I'm going to get rid of my guides there, and look at this. So do we like it with the, I know there's no, I mean, there are sound effects on my eCam. Let's see here. Go to eCam, sound effects, window, sound effects. I know there's no applause, but I just want some applause there. So let's see. Yay! Let's see who likes the fatty behind or on top. So in real life, the minute hand goes on top. So I think that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to keep the minute hand on top. So I'm going to drop and drag that layer down there, and then let's see if we can squeeze that top layer a little bit more. So let's squeeze that top layer. Liking it. Okay, that's your Jack Hair Terror. Now, because we love Jack and we love this clock here, we're going to go Control 0. Open. No, we're going to go Control Paste. No, Control 0, I think. No, we're going to go Control Apple for all and copy that, and then go back to this layer. I'm doing this all on the keyboard, everybody. So now I'm going to Control Command T, and then what I'm going to do is give us a special booty here with no drop shadow, and go Control J, or Command J, and duplicate that, and send that baby over with my shift and my arrow key. So let go, and okay. So it looks like if I were to take a marquee tool, M, and get anal about this, boom, I take an M tool, and I go, let's get a guide here. So I get a guide, and then I can make this box right to the guide and move it over, move this box over. And I can realize that that clock is not in the middle. I can see that by, on the bud here, there's different space on either side. So how do we ultimately get everything in the center? What I'm going to show you is something amazing, and I don't know if I can do it with multiple layers, but I'm going to click out of there and go get the V tool. And right up here, I learned this last year, that there's a spacing tool now. So I can click on the clock, which is layer 1, and I can go, everything's going to move. Okay, so let's see if I can get everything at once. Boom. Looks like I can. Okay, so, but I don't want the tens. I don't want them to move. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the middle button here and move everything to the side. Yay! So now what I'm going to do is, something didn't flow right there. So we're going to go Command Z, and we're going to find out why. Ah, okay, so let's find where, okay, number 4 and number 4. So let's turn off both 4s and try that again. Okay, so now let's bring back number 4. This one here, number 4, and start to move that. So we get our move tool. We move number 4 into position, and we go 4 copy. I like to teach my students to label their yellow YEL10. Okay, so this is going to be YEL2. In case I ever come back and have to work on this copy again, I can know what I'm doing. Okay, and so it looks like I blew it with my 50s and my 60s here, my 50s, my 60s. So how do I efficiently go back and get my 50s and 60s? So let's see here. So I've got 0, and let's see if I can go V, and I'm going to do a 10 there. So that's a 1. Okay, let's see what this is. Okay, that's a 0, so I'm going to go V and move that. Instead of going backwards and doing it again, just going to be pretty quick with this. So that's a 0, 0 dash for 10. Okay, so now this is going to be another 0 probably. That's a 0 dash 50. Okay, and that's a 5. Okay, let's move the 5 first. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, and now let's move the 5, 0. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, so that's pretty good. So if I were going to take the 5, let's move it down a little bit. Boom, give it a little breath there. Boom. Okay, now we select both arms and we go V-ba-dee-ba. Okay, those aren't the arms. Okay, so we're going to go and find the arms. So the arms are here, and we're going to go V. We're going to move those together. Okay, and I'm going to pull the layer 9 arm down. There we go. And we are going to pull the top one over a little bit down. And we are going to start to move our bouquets over. These are buds here. Bud manufacturer 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so now we are going to so in all of that haste, everybody, look, I have the bottom not perfect, okay? So that's a little bit concerning. So what I'm going to do, instead of moving everything again as I just did, and I'll show you how to duplicate the buds and flip them and move them in a second, is I'm going to get this bud here a little bit closer, and I'm going to now expand layer 3. So you hit Command Control, you hit Option Command or Option Control C, and you click on the top to expand the height. So let's go 0.25, 0.25, and see if that's too much or just perfect. So we're going to go 0.25. Okay, it's not allowing me to do that. Why not? 0.1. Let's see if it'll let me do 0.1. Okay, how about 1? Okay, so it must be huge. Hang on. This file must be huge. So I'm going to see how big this file is. It's actually not huge, but in the sake of incredible giggles here, I'm going to change the resolution to 300. I love working in resolution. 300, Command or Control 0, and then minus. And so now I am going to see if I can get 0.25 again. 0.25 inches. 0.25 inches because we never learned. So I'm going to go and get 0.25 inches from here, and I'm going to go height 0.25. Sorry, it's been a struggle this morning here. We're going to go inches, and we're going to go height 0.25. 5. And then we're going to go back to Ecamm, and we are going to give you a sound effect. Okay, so now that we have our layer 3 initialized, we are going to go T and just grab it. We don't have to do nothing else. So we're going to grab that baby. And I think that's pretty good, but I kind of would like a little more on the sides. So we're going to do that again because the bud's a little bit, you know what, I can make those buds smaller. So let's make those buds smaller. See if we can do it together. So we highlight both buds. We go Command T, and let's just make them smaller instead of taller. Okay, so now you can click on one bud and move it. Whoops, they are connected. So Command Z, boom, and we go 1, 1, we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Click on the next one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, that's pretty dang good. Now, what I'm going to show you here is very special. If you want to keep these buds separate, okay, and floating so you have single buds, I would say click on both of them and make a new folder and call them outer buds. Okay, and remember this is a Jack Herer clock. Okay, and so we are going to, now we're going to duplicate those. So if I open up that folder, they're both in there. So now I'm going to duplicate that folder, as in Command or Control J, and now I'm going to open those up and I'm going to highlight both of them. Hold your Control or your Command down and go Control or Command. E as in Edward, and now we have them in an incredible layer. Okay, so we can send them to the top, and then I'll show you how to reverse them, unless we want to keep them up. Yeah, I think we need to reverse them for continuity and for, because they're coming over into the clock area. So we're going to go Edit, Transform, Flip Vertical. Boom. Okay, so they are in exact alignment of each other. And now, because it's time to save this baby, we are going to save it, and we are going to, we're going to call this 1. We're going to go T, and we're going to go O and E. That's in our 1 series. And I'm going to go, and I'm going to take the opacity down on this so it goes into a 1 series here. So I have a series of images that are called the 1 series, and unfortunately, the dodo brains at Open Seas has changed the the party, and I'm not going to be able to make millions of these. So my one series may be a joke for a minute, but we're going to figure it out, and I'm going to talk to the people that are spending more time on this than me. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go duplicate that as in J, and then we're going to go T for type tool, and we're going to go 420. And we're going to go OK, and we're going to go V as in move, and we're going to go bring this baby down. Do we want it inside or down at the bottom? I think right there is fine. Okay, so there we go. Piece of art is complete. You get rid of the handles there, and we're going to do this one. And I'm going to see if I have a frame for it. See if we can put a frame around this. So we're going to go Command, Open. Not sure if I have a frame folder here. Frame folder in this Mac. So let's see if I have my frames that I love here. I do have my green smoothie frame. Okay, so I like my green smoothie frame. And let's see if we can put this cloth inside of there and make the green smoothie frame square. Okay, so we are going to first try to make this green smoothie frame square. So turn off my homies. Let's turn off all of my signatures here. And let's see if we can make this square. So if I were to be a fighting man, I would go to the center here. See if I can find center. There it is. It clicked in the center. Let's see if that's the center. Right there. Okay, so that's center. So now what I want to do is to make this square. How would I make this square? I would copy this like this. I would say, is that everything? Yes. So that has both frames involved there. So what I would do, I would highlight that and I would go M, and it will snap to my guides. Command C, V, and then I would turn this off, and I would Command J that, which is layer 5 copy, and I would flip that layer. So that's just transforming one layer, not the whole image. Flip it horizontal, and I would go and see if I can visualize a square here. Get your move tool and then visualize a square. Everybody tell me when they want me to stop. Boom. Does that feel right, everybody? So now what we're going to do is we are going to go Image, Trim, and trim the transparent pixels. Okay, now we're going to see what size it is. And it is almost I'm 917. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to undo the chain and go 8, and we will get this square in a second. Okay, so now it is 8 by 8, everybody, and let's get this 300. So when I drag and drop everything else in here, it'll be proportionate and beautiful. So we're making this frame square, and because nothing is in this frame yet, we are going to save it as a square version because it took us time to make this square version. And here we go. So we're going to go minus, and we're going to go save this as NFT horizontal. We're going to go SQ, and we're going to go, it's not horizontal anymore. So we're saving it as a Photoshop file, so it's empty in the center, and we are going to, for giggles, we're going to flatten those, and we're going to get rid of this one just to save pixel size. And I'm going to zoom it to see if it is actually in the middle, if there's no break in there, so there is none. So we're going to go 0 minus, and we're going to go and save that again. Okay, so now we have that. We can go Control Open, and we can see that we have, if we go here and we go to date modified, we can find our square. So it's 14 megabytes. It's pretty good size, so it's beautiful. So now we're going to go back to our clock, and we're going to decide what to do on bringing everything over. Since we love this clock the way it is, we're going to be sure that we save it as 420 420 clock, and we're going to save it in photos, cannabis art, and 420 clock. Okay. Okay. Boom. Boom. Okay. So now what we're going to do is save it again as a JPEG. Let's save it as a TIFF. That's a high resolution JPEG. So we're going to save it again as a 420 clock TIFF. We're going to discard all the layers. Okay. And I teach everybody to save 3 times. And because that's taking a while for it to save there, that means it's a big file. And once you save it enough, you can open it and you can go see how big that tipper is. It's only 4 megabytes, but it's really beautiful file. So I'm going to save it as a JPEG for emailing. So save it as a JPEG. I love my bud clock. Okay, so here we go here. Hemp Hemp Hooray, everybody. On a Sunday, it's cleaning day for some kitchen work. Okay, so I cleaned the refrigerator yesterday, everybody. So now what we're going to do is we're going to open the bud version, the clock flattened TIFF version, and we're going to Control A, Command A that, and see that, and then we're going to see if we can bring that into here. And then Command T this. And we are going to bring that into and we're going to move it down. And we are going to double click that. And we are going to see how we did. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to edit the type on this. Okay, now do you remember the tool I showed you earlier today? You hit the V to enable the move tool. And you go up here to center and it'll center. So now we're going to find our signature. Boom, and we're going to go V, and we are going to move the signature over, and we are going to make the signature white, and then we are going to get our 111, since we love our 111, and we are going to whoops, we are going to bring our 111 over. Come on, 111, come on in. Okay, so now I'm going to take the, it's always 420, and I'm going to go click on that, it's always 420, J that, and I'm going to go okay, so I copied that, and now I'm going to go T as in ta-da, and go, okay, boom, the, boom, the plant. And because this is taking so long, I will stop this and I will grab it and throw it up here. And I will hit the type tool and I will open it up. And then I will give it quotations, and I will get the move tool, which is V, and hit the center tool. So that's your lesson for today, everybody. I'm really blessed to be playing with you all, and it's been really incredible to play with you today. Um, yeah, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood for Photoshop 420 clock class. Let's see if I can bring that clock in. So I'm going to actually save that clock now with frame. So let's find my 420. You guys want to see what I'm doing here? Let's find my 420 clock folder. We're using Mac. It's the only way to fly. So square. Okay, so we're going to go square frame. Master. So we're going to go boom 4-20 square frame master. Okay, keep your titles as small as possible, and then hit save. So we're saving it multiply, so in case we need to use it for other things. And so here we go. So this is going to be a save as a TIFF and a JPEG for emailing. So we're going to discard the layers here for TIFF, say OK, and now we're going to save it again one more time, and I'm going to wait for it to be saved. Oops, it's still saving. I must have some action there. Okay. How's everybody doing on a Sunday morning? I'm making art, and it's really fun. And so if this baby would save, we would be able to make our JPEG. Come on, baby, you can do it. So let's enable Photoshop and see if it saves it any quicker. Hello, there it goes. So we know it was in operation mode, and now we're going to save it as a JPEG and be done with this incredible party that we're doing. We're saving it as just a JPEG. Master at full preview, we can see that it's only 2 megabytes, which is fine, and because it's a small file. And then we are going to come back to the love of life, and we are going to magically, let's see if we can magically find our eCam software here, eCam, and we're going to magically put in that photograph into my deal here, because I may use it a lot. Okay, so now I've got a giant rendition of that clock, and now I've got a 420 clock on my wall in my boudoir, and I'm going to say, oh, let's make this smaller here. I'm going to say hemp hemp hooray everybody, and it is a free morning, which is weed, peace, F schedule 1, and love you all, and talk to you later. And don't forget, Tommy Chong is on our show this week, Let's see if we have a poster here. Let's see if we have a poster. Do we have a poster on this computer? So we're going to say EP10. Okay, do we have a poster? This is how we do it. Boom, 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 boom. I don't think we have a poster here, but we will show that to you as soon as we get it. Let's see here, 86. No, we don't have that poster here. So we're going to tell you that, in fact, I can do this here. Open. Bada bang, bada bing, bong, bang. Okay, check it out, everybody. Boom, boom, boom. At 12 Pacific. Okay, so check it out. So Tommy's going to be on, everybody. Tommy's going to be on this Weeds Day. And I don't have my poster here, but you can find it in all of the usual places. And we're going to go on Roku in March. So keep hydrated, everybody. Keep incredible. And that was your Photoshop incredible class today. Good day, good afternoon, and take it easy. Stay hydrated, everybody.